Okay, let's look at how to stream data to your screen. So this is still data that you obviously fetch in runtime, with the difference being that it just automatically updates your screen as it streams it over the WebSocket. So what we'll change is we'll say that rather than fetching 5 jokes when this component gets added to the DOM, we will just start streaming jokes when this component gets added to the DOM. So let's start by looking at the back end. So what we'll do is we will add a broadcaster from Mutiny, and that will just stream the jokes. And this is the object that will return to the front end. So we'll have a new method here for the front end, so for JSON RPC, but now we mark it as a multi. As soon as it's marked as a multi, we know that your intention is to have a subscription or to stream the data. So we'll stream jokes, which is that one there. So all that we now need to do is find a way to every X amount of time add something to that. What we will do is we'll just say we can add a post construct, because this will by default be an application scope bean, and we will just start we'll just tick every 10 seconds and we'll add a joke, to that stream, and we get it from the normal get joke. So this is simple enough on the Java side. On the JavaScript side, we're going to now change this connected callback, rather than saying initialize jokes. So we'll take away the message, and now we'll use that new method which we've created here called stream jokes, and we will stream jokes. We obviously do not pass in a parameter, and now we won't do then, because we now get a subscription back, so we'll do on next. We still get back a JSON RPC response. We will just add that to the array. It's just one joke, and we'll just add the number of jokes. So this will just be plus plus. Right. We also want to remember this, because we need to cancel this. So we'll say this.observer, right? Now we have a handle on it, so that later here we can just say dot cancel. Right. So basically, when the component is added to the DOM, we will start receiving elements, and when it is removed, we'll stop receiving elements. This should be enough. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, so we've rebuilt it. Now if we go to the web components, we should, it's not connected yet, so we might wait until it's connected. Okay, so now you'll see it's connected, and it starts streaming the jokes automatically. So it already found the first joke. There's the second one coming in every 10 seconds. What's the time? That was 1:11, so 21 should be the next one, and we'll continue to stream. Right, if we go out here, so we'll go back here, you'll see that we passed the unsubscribed, which will stop the flow of messages, so you won't see them here again. And then obviously if we go back, we continue streaming. Right, so this is pretty much what we want to do. So let's change this to not do it when the component is added to the DOM, but allow the user to have an action that says yes, stream the jokes, or don't stream the jokes. Okay, so back in our code, we now want to add a new button so that we can allow the user to start and stop this streaming of the jokes. So here, next to our more, we'll add a button. We'll call this function, which we'll encode just now. The title or the name of this button will be dynamic, because we want to have it on. We want to set it initially as in the constructor as something like start streaming. So the user will click start streaming, and then once we start streaming, we'll change it to stop streaming, which means we need some or other flag that knows whether or not we're streaming or not. So we'll add a flag, a boolean flag that is streaming, which initially will be false because we won't be streaming when this component is added. We probably want to add some styling for these two buttons so that they're not right next to each other, so we'll just add some padding. And now we need to write this function here that starts and stops, so we will just have a new function here and basically just looking at that flag. So if it is running or if it is streaming, then we need to stop it, so we'll change this to it's not running anymore. We'll change the title back to start streaming, and otherwise we'll stop it, which means we'll set the flag to true and allow the user to click stop streaming. And now all we need to do is get the methods that we used to put in here. We'll change that and add it to the start, so that will, this is wrong, this is starting it, start it. So now we started and we will end it here. And I'm not going to cut this out, I'm just going to copy it, because if it was running and the user goes away, we want to make sure that we still clean up after ourselves. So we'll just say that if it was running at the time that I left the screen, also cancel it. Now this should be enough. So back in the screen, reconnected. If I now go to my page, you'll see that there's my new button and nothing happened on the initial adding to the DOM. If I click on it, the button changed to stop. You'll see that I've sent a message that says I want to stream jokes, and the jokes are starting to come through. So the first one came in 25, so we'll see another one at 10 seconds later, and it'll continue that until I click stop, which we then call unsubscribe. Okay, if I start it and we receive more jokes and I go away, we unsubscribe and the jokes stop. So that is streaming data to the screen. That's a nice way to keep your screen up to date. This can be used for things like number of interceptions that happened, or caches that updates, or anything that happens while the user is testing their application. You want to update the screen.